From the heart of Wayne County, this is Wayne Goldsboro Television, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Today's July 26, 2016, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Pat Garner, and we are at the Goldsboro Event Center.
The new Goldsboro Event Center, operated by the City of Goldsboro on South Slocum Street in southern Goldsboro, southern part of Goldsboro. What a gorgeous place this has been. This is. The city has come in and just re-landscaped, cut out a lot of the shrub that was up there and the fences and stuff, and just opened all this up here. The neighbors, I talked to one of the neighbors here a moment ago, they love this because it opened up everything. They got beautiful lights that light up. It looks like daylight out here when at nighttime. But this is a beautiful place. They've refurbished the building, and it is available for use. If you have a wedding, if you have a meeting, if you have any kind of a reunion, you can have anything. In fact, there were some ladies out here a little while ago, Ms. Durant and Ms. Johnson, who were looking at, to get some information about the Goldsboro Event Center. This is a beautiful place.
It is.
Yeah, and the lantana's blooming. They got the petunias. Petunias are blooming. Not petunias, but petunias are blooming. They've got all kinds of stuff. You see all kinds of stuff back there. It's a beautiful place.
The
City of Goldsboro has done a great job in putting this together here. Okay, well, today is Tuesday, and on today's program, let me tell you, Kevin Johnson is the man. He is, Kevin and I were out in the middle of a tobacco field a few days ago, and we recorded the program about tobacco. Tobacco is still the money king here in Wayne County. Tobacco makes a lot of money for tobacco farmers, controversial or not, it just depends on which side of the road you stand on. It doesn't really matter, but it makes a lot of money for Wayne County, makes a lot of money for the farmers of Wayne County. It is a valid crop. A lot of this is going overseas as well. So we're going to find out about tobacco, some things maybe you didn't know about it. So we're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes, okay? In fact, it'll be in two parts. We'll have the first part and then the second part, part two, coming up here a little later on. All right, on what? Oh, okay.
What you got?
Well, let me. Would you hold that for me?
Sure.
Why? Thank you, there, fair lady. No, don't ask me how to spell it. The AAHC and the ADC presents. So you think you've got talent? Ha! I just threw the ha in. It doesn't really say ha.
Right.
I just threw that in. Friday, October 7th, at the Base Theater on Base, you'll have a chance to show your talent. Now, it is for active duty military and for civilians as well. Civilian category, ages 16 and older. Active duty military category as well. Talent categories include dance, voice, variety, instrumental, rap, rap, groups up to 5 people. Dancers, comedians, spoken word, and other novelty acts as well. And you're invited to participate simply by just going and auditioning between 6 and 8 p.m. at the Base Theater, September 5th, 7th, and 8th. Now, to register, you can call or email Senior Airman Kaivon Williams. Kaivon, K-A-I-V-O-N-E .Williams at us.af.mil. us.af.mil. All right, and that's coming up on October 7th. But again, the auditions September 5th, 7th, and 8th. Kaivon Williams Extension is 8542. There's all kinds of prizes to be awarded: first, second, and third place in the military and in the civilian categories as well. All right, that's coming up soon. Woo! It's gonna be a lot of fun. Operation Fan Heat Relief. You know, we have had some really heavy, strong, damaging heat this summer. And I understand this is going to be one of the hottest weeks we have had so far of the summer. This is it right here. Whew. This is it right here. The OFHR, Operation Fan Heat Relief, is a summer program intended to provide a more comfortable living environment and reduce heat-related illnesses. Now, summertime can be difficult, it says, as you well know, and a dangerous time for many in Wayne County, especially when they do not have a means to keep their houses cool. Now, the OFHR program provides fans to Wayne County seniors at no cost that have a home situation where a threat to health and well-being exists. Fans are very limited through this funding. However, the Peggy Seeger Senior Center will gladly accept donated fans. If you have a fan that you just can do without, donate it to the Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center, or even monetary donations to buy fans to distribute to seniors in need as well. I understand that earlier this year, one of the scout troops in the area collected fans and donated the money, collected money and donated money to buy fans. They were able to raise enough money to purchase over 80 fans that were donated, that money donated to the senior center. If you want more information about this, call Lisa. Lisa Barker's number is 919-731-1608, 919-731-1608. Okay, that's a great program. People are really having a hard time struggling in the heat this year. It's been hot.
Me too.
And you too. She
Yeah.
struggles. Pat's struggling as well. Are you struggling?
It's hot.
It's hot. It's hot today.
It's a little warm. I don't think that fan's working, Wayne.
I just hurt myself. Let's get serious here. Okay, we don't have to. The East Point Geriatric Adult Mental Health Specialty Team is offering caregiver classes at the Peggy Seeger Senior Center each month. These classes are held on the fourth Monday of each month. The fourth Monday. If there's only 3 Mondays in a month, they don't have one. But that never happens. Fourth Monday of each month from 5:30 until 6:30. These are hour-long classes geared for those who are caring or have an interest in the geriatric population. 1 hour of continuing education will be given for each participant at the end of each class. All right? There's no charge for this or no age requirement as well. Anybody can go. Call Paula if you have any questions about this, and her number 919-705-1785. 705-1785. Okay?
Got it.
Got it. Each month. Woo! Well, let's see. Coming up in August, a variety show at the Senior Center. Boy, that's going to be a lot of fun. On August 12th from 5 until 8 p.m.
Kind of variety show.
Well, I don't know. It'll be a show of variety. It'll be a show that includes different things, variety
You
of
don't
things.
know, Wayne Allen?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Just going to be a variety show. I know that. So if you're a variety-oriented person or if you're a variety-minded individual, this show is for you. Okay, I think we ought to go to Kevin now.
I think so.
Too quick to agree. Anyway, we're going to go to our interview with Kevin Johnson. He is the director of the Cooperative Extension Service here in Wayne County. We're talking tobacco, Kevin and I are. And while you were behind the camera, he and I were out in the field. All right, we're standing in a tobacco field in northern Wayne County, just off the highway here, and we're talking with Kevin Johnson, director of the Cooperative Extension Service of Wayne County. Hey, man, we're in a tobacco field.
We are. We're glad to be out here. We want our viewers to learn a little bit about agriculture in the county. Yes,
This is the money crop for Wayne County, right?
Yeah, this is our biggest cash crop. You know, tobacco has been the number one cash crop for many years, and a lot of people don't realize that, but tobacco is still an important crop here in the county.
It is very much so. Now, how many acres roughly of tobacco do we have in Wayne County?
It varies from year to year, but usually anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 acres.
And at one time, it was much greater than that.
Believe it or not, it has been, yeah, especially back in the the 30s and 40s,
yeah.
back when your yields weren't as good. We at one time had close to 20,000 acres. But as far as our number of pounds that we produce, we've been fairly consistent over the last 20, 30 years.
And to what do you attribute that? Is it because of better farming, better ways of growing tobacco?
Yes, what it is that we have the right conditions to grow tobacco. We have the right soils, we have the right climate. So, Wayne County, Wilson County, some of our other surrounding counties, we have the optimum conditions to grow tobacco. And so we're that's why tobacco's still here. And tobacco has always been known throughout North Carolina and the Southeast. It ran from Florida, Virginia, really. Yeah. And a lot of that tobacco over the years has kind of really moved into what we call the I-95 corridor. There's about 5 or 6 counties that grow a lot of the tobacco, and we're lucky to be one of them.
Yes, we are. And at one time, Wayne County was a major market for tobacco.
It was. We used to have a lot of warehouses, and and for our viewers, that's tobacco trailers coming into the field.
And they've gotten a lot louder in the last 20 years than they used to be.
They really have. We don't have the mules anymore.
No, we don't have any mules. The mules are all gone. Yeah.
But yeah, we had a lot of markets here, and of course, we don't really have any markets now. The tobacco industry's changed a lot. You don't have your warehouses and your auction sales. It's, now we're with contract growing with the companies.
Directly to the tobacco companies.
Directly, they do a contract.
Lorillard and Reynolds and all those.
Yes, Philip Morris, Universal, those are your main companies. And, so we don't have those markets here. So, our farmers will direct to those companies, and that would be in Wilson, Smithfield, places like that.
Right. So we're out here today. Whose farm is this?
This is Dahl Farms. It's Deliner and Paul Dahl, and they're very good farmers. Mm-hmm. They're good tobacco farmers, and we'd like to kind of show off the crop and maybe explain to our listeners that don't know anything about tobacco what this crop is about.
Okay, well now today you might see behind us at some point that they're actually cropping tobacco. Now what does it mean to crop tobacco?
That means, in this crop, unlike a lot of our crops where we're wanting the seed or other things, we're actually after the leaves.
After the leaves, okay.
We want the leaves. We don't care about the seed and the reproductive stage.
So that's not good.
That's not good. We'll explain about that in just a second too. We're interested in the leaves, and you don't harvest all the leaves at once. They start at the bottom because they will mature first.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. They're cropping, as we call it. The bottom leaves, or sometimes those are the lugs. We call them the lugs.
The lugs.
And so they're putting those in today. They'll come back in a few weeks and they'll crop it again, and then they'll get
leaves a little higher up the stalk.
The leaves a little higher up the stalk, and of course they're better quality. The higher up you go, the better the quality. And so they'll harvest those, and then we'll be harvesting tobacco in the county now throughout the month of. We'll harvest all the way up to October.
All the way to October. And depends on what part of the county or what part of the state you're from. Some people actually refer to it as crapping tobacco.
Yeah. You ever heard that? Yeah. There's all kind of different
things. All kind of ways of saying it, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, but now let's take a look back here, sir. And at what we have here, this is a typical row.
Yeah, this is a typical row. If we come over here, you look at the crop. You see, on average, most of the plants will have about 20 leaves.
Mm-hmm.
18 to 20 leaves is what you're shooting for. The bottom leaves, we call them, the very bottom ones we call sand lugs.
Right. Because they end up with a lot of sand on them.
A lot of sand on them, and they're thin. The quality's not there. They're kind of trashy. Paul and Deliner actually knock those leaves off.
Do they?
They're not worth a lot.
Yeah.
And if you get them off, it'll actually help improve the quality of the leaves above it. But now they're coming in and they're getting, 6 or 7 leaves right now. They're still lugs. The quality's not there, but it's still an important part of the crop.
It's a saleable product.
It's a saleable product. The big money, the high value is these tips up here at the top. They're thick. They have, their chemical content is higher, the stuff that we're looking for, and so this is the money crop.
This is where the money is.
This is where the money's at, but it's not. It starts ripening from the bottom up.
Right.
So this will be what we'll be harvesting in September and October.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, now we talked a minute ago about the seeds and all that stuff. Now, tell me about that. Why do you throw the seeds away?
Well, for the folks that have been around tobacco, they realize that tobacco is like any other plant. It's trying to reproduce.
Right.
And so what it does is it'll send up a flower, or we call them tops, and we want to get rid of those because a lot of the energy will go into that top. and we want the energy to stay in the leaves. So we what we call topping the tobacco.
Right.
We break the tops out, and we break them out to the point so that we've got about 18 to 20 leaves.
These are suckers.
And what happens is once you break that top out, that plant's like, man, I've got to do something about this. I want to reproduce.
Yeah.
So then it starts producing suckers.
Okay.
And that's just auxiliary shoots that are coming out, new shoots that are going to come out from the leaf axils. They'll start coming out. We don't want those either.
No, we don't want
those.
those.
We don't want those suckers.
So we throw away the seeds, and then when the suckers come out, we throw those away.
We throw those away too. But that takes a lot of time and effort,
Yeah.
you know. So we actually use, you know, we have to physically come in and break the tops out. Whether we use a machine to do it or we come out here by hand and break them out. A lot of times you got to get these suckers out too by hand to start with.
I remember the day.
Not
Before
good days.
machinery.
Not good days.
Before machinery, it was hot and sticky, and oh my goodness.
And you didn't want your rows to be too long.
No, you didn't.
Because long rows were just depressing.
You wanted to be in the short rows.
Exactly. But once we get these tops and suckers out, then there are products out there that we can use that will help keep the suckers from coming back.
Right.
And so that helps the farmers out a lot. And then they can focus their energy into actually coming out and harvesting the crop.
Right. Okay.
So it's a very interesting crop. A lot of people ask a lot of questions that don't understand. We grow it on ridges. I get that question a lot. Why is it on a ridge?
Yeah, why is it on a ridge?
Well, number one, a ridge is warm. Mm-hmm. So when you first put the plant in April, we put the plants in April, it's warm, it'll grow quicker.
Right.
The main real reason we do it is, you know, tobacco doesn't like wet feet.
That's
it doesn't
right.
it would drown really easy. So
It doesn't
you
like sitting in water.
want it up high so it won't drown. A ridge also helps. We like to plow tobacco to keep the weeds out. We got to add additional fertilizers. So those are the main reasons that we have it on ridges.
And we're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. That was part one with Kevin, and we'll be back to more of Kevin and the tobacco field coming up in just a few minutes, okay? Waynesboro Delta Waterfowl is going to have a golf tournament. Waynesboro Delta Waterfowl. Golf tournament coming up August 12th at Goldsboro Municipal, which is right here at the Goldsboro Event Center. In fact, they've moved the pro shop to this building. The pro shop is here, so when you play golf, you have to come here to play golf, to the event center. Used to have to go to the clubhouse. Well, this is the clubhouse now. All right, come to the club, come to the event center. Anyway, August 12th, Goldsboro Municipal, $200 per team. It's a four-man Super Bowl, $100 per hole sponsor. There are $30 mulligan packages, 2 T-Buster, 2 mulligans, closest to the pin, longest drive prizes. All proceeds will go to Chasing a Cure. Chasing a Cure. A young fellow by the name of Chase is the subject of this particular tournament. Anyway, this is all coming up August 12th, and if you want to know more about this, I have an address for you. I don't have a phone number. But here's the address. Waynesboro Delta Waterfowl, 307 Friendswood Drive, Goldsboro, 27530. Friendswood, that's 307 Friendswood Drive in Goldsboro if you want to know more about it. You need more information about that. Okay, let's find our page here that tells us what's special about today. Do we have a page that tells us what's special about today?
You should, Wayne.
There's one in here, Wayne, and as soon as we find it, Wayne, we're going to tell you everything about what's special today, and then we'll have our trivia question for today. That we will, Wayne. What's today? Today's the 26th. By the way, the VFW Post meeting tonight, 6:30. That's at 1010 North Church Street in Mount Olive. It's the Mount Olive Post, 9959, meeting tonight. Tomorrow, Goldsboro Wayne Purple Heart Foundation meeting at noon at the Veteran Services Office on East Ash Street at 2001 East Ash Street.
Look at there.
Look at there. Got it right here. See? Here's what's special about today. Today being the 26th. Today, the 26th, is One Voice Day. Have no idea what that means, and that's the only one I have. So whatever that means, there you go. What does it mean?
I have no.
I don't know either, yeah. Okay. Can't read that one for tomorrow, can we?
Nope.
Nope.
Just
Okay.
one for today.
All right. Today's, oh yeah, that's not it. I've got it here. Oh, here it is right here. Tube de noose. Tuba de noose, as they say somewhere. For only $10, you can tube the noose, and that includes your $10 will include a tube, which is nice to have if you're tubing. It will include transportation from where you land to where you get back, I guess, and a t-shirt. And all that is only $10, and this will be taking place on the 13th of August, beginning at 9 a.m., right?
That's right.
All right. You can register online, but the easiest thing to do is to go to the GoldsboroParksandRec.com website, GoldsboroParksandRec.com website, and check on that. A couple of the sponsors. Bicycle World is one of the sponsors here on East Ash Street, Goldsboro. Prince Tire Company. You know those guys. Everybody knows Dell and Vernon and Ralph over at Prince Tire Company. Big sponsors for the Tube de News. Tube Transportation T-shirt, $10, August 13th, GoldsboroParksandRec.com. Today's trivia question has to do with space exploration. Space exploration. I've got plenty of it right there.
Empty space.
Ever how you describe it. Yeah, probably. Who was the first human? The first human being actually sit atop a rocket and be shot into space. Who was that? I'll tell you this. It was a Russian. A very famous Russian who died in a helicopter accident some years later, but a famous Russian, first person into space. Who was that? All right. Second part. Who was the first American into space after the Russians? Now, it was a suborbital flight, but yeah, who was it? Who was the first Russian or who was the first American into space? And I've got both answers, and we'll go into that in our next segment here on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Can we do that?
Yes.
All right, well, let's go back to Kevin. He's out in the
Okay.
tobacco field, and it's
He's
hot.
probably sweating to death.
He is sweating to death, yeah. All right, we'll go back, and we'll be back in just a moment on Wayne Goldsboro Television. All right, let's start at the beginning. While we're in the middle of this, I want to take just a moment and go back to the very beginning. Tell me about plant beds and when you drive down the road. At one time, you used to see row upon row of plastic sheets out. Plastic rows of sheets.
That was the way that
Long time
ago we used to grow plants was on plant beds.
Right.
And basically you'd have a small area that you would clean off. You would go out though and sow your tobacco. Still do it in February. You'd have plastic out there
To keep it from what?
Keep it. Well, number one, you want the sun to come down to heat up the soil, and of course, it's cold then.
Yeah.
So you're trying to also protect it from freezing.
Right.
And probably about 30 years ago, we changed technologies, and we've moved to where we grow all our plants in the greenhouses.
Has it been 30 years now?
Yeah, it's been about that long, really, to be
Man.
honest. But yeah. We don't have any plant beds in Wayne County. Really, I don't know of any plant beds in North Carolina now.
Oh, really?
Everybody's converted to greenhouses.
Okay,
and,
I missed that, I guess.
Yeah, those were the good old days, right?
Yeah.
And but a greenhouse is really nice. It's you can control that temperature. You can have very uniform plants. And you can grow them off really quick. It's just a great thing.
So these came out of transplants as well, right?
They were all our farmers are usually sowing their greenhouses mid to late February,
Right.
and they need about 2 months. In 2 months, you can have a usable plant. So you're going to be setting out your tobacco. We call setting it out.
Yeah.
Setting out the little transplants. Usually our target date's April 15th, and we'll set
Right.
tobacco all the way up to the 1st of March.
And April 15th is not only tax day, but it's also the last day on average of frost.
Frost, that's right.
In Wayne County.
Because frost will kill the plants.
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. Those are the risk of early setting out is a frost. You don't want to have frost. Generally, there's a lot of storms in April.
Yeah.
We don't want any type of wind damage, hail damage. you know, so generally that's why we're trying to wait till that last frost. And the farmers, once you get to that, they're the best meteorologists you'll ever find.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
looking at the 20-day forecast, you know, trying to determine
That's
what
right.
they can
Well,
do.
and that's one reason the Old Farmer's Almanac was so popular among farmers.
It was, you know, and it still is.
It still
Yeah,
is,
It still
yeah.
is. It really is. But yeah, and then you know, tobacco grows fast. You
Yes,
know, you know, it really grows rapidly, and like I say, so we're in tobacco really from February all the way through October, and you know, and then you'll be selling tobacco for a few weeks after that, and so tobacco's almost a year-round crop now.
Just about a year-round crop, and it's still the money king in Wayne County
It's still the
agriculture.
money king. It really is.
All right, so once all the leaves are taken from the stalk, what happens then?
Well, you know, the leaves are taken to bulk barns.
Bulk barn.
And
yeah.
those are basically, it takes basically a week to cure it out. And what that means is they're gonna, basically you're gonna try to turn this thing from green to gold. And you're gonna play with the moisture. It's all with heat and moisture.
Right.
And you're trying to capture the tobacco in a state that is usable for the tobacco or the cigarette industry.
Cigarette industry.
Yeah.
All right. So you're actually taking this and curing it.
You're curing it.
Curing
yeah.
this
and,
tobacco leaf.
And you see those barns throughout the county.
Bulk barns.
Bulk
yeah.
barns. And, you know, it takes an art to cure tobacco. You can't really just follow a recipe to do that. It's gone from generation to generation, and it's a lot of trial and error. And, you know, greener tobacco is harder to cure than that is more ripe. And then, you know, if it's wet, it's more challenging. There's a lot of different challenges out there.
Well, you know, the bulk tobacco barns you see now alongside the highway are these metal box containers that have all this stuff already made into it. But whatever happened to the tobacco barns where you used to see 1,000 tobacco sticks lined up behind or stacked up behind it, and then you'd get the tobacco sticks and most of the family and some of the neighbors over and tie off tobacco on these sticks and then put them up in the tobacco barn.
Yeah.
And then light that fire.
The old stick barns, as we call them. Those barns, and there's still a few of them around. You can ride around the county and you'll see those, but they're those wooden barns that set up kind of high. You'd had several tiers or levels of where you would hang the sticks.
Hang the sticks, yeah.
Back then, you know, a farmer didn't have so much tobacco.
Or money.
You know, it was, or money, that's right. Interesting fact, like in 1950, we had 5,000 tobacco farmers in Wayne County.
Good
And
Lord.
we have about 50 now.
Yeah.
Growing the same amount of tobacco as we were with the 5,000.
Is that right?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
you know, a farmer back then would have 2 or 3 acres. Of course, you cropped it by hand. You used mules.
Yes.
You took
tobacco sleds.
Tobacco sleds. Then you would go back to the barn and you would loop it on the sticks.
Right.
People talk about looping tobacco. And so you would put it on the sticks, hang it up. The curing process was the same. The barns were just different then.
Took a little longer.
A little bit longer. We didn't have all the technology. Right. I mean, sometimes, well, always you were curing with wood.
That's
and,
right.
You know, then they moved to oil burners later. But in any case, it was a family-oriented process, a community. It was a community thing because you would, people in the community would get together and help put in each other's barns.
That's right.
And take it out. Of course, you had to take it out after it cured, but you worked together. And it was a family deal, and now it's so big. We're using machines for the most part to crop, and we're using machines in a lot of cases to top. Still got to do a lot of hand topping and suckering, but most of our crop is now machine harvest. We have loading systems that put it in big boxes, and then, you know, you use mechanical equipment to put it in the barns.
Right.
So you don't have all that labor that we used to have.
It was very labor intensive, but now the machinery into the 21st century has taken care of a lot of
It's
that.
taking care of a lot.
And that's why 50 tobacco farmers approximately in Wayne County are now doing the work of
What 5,000 we're doing.
1% of what it used to be, with the
1%.
same amount of tobacco.
Same
being-
amount of tobacco.
being
Yeah,
harvested.
you know, back in 1950, if you had 5 acres of tobacco, you were a big tobacco farmer.
Yeah.
And, You know, nowadays, you know, our farmers have hundreds of acres.
Yeah.
And so it's, but they can do that with the equipment that we have.
And the cigarette industry is still flourishing.
Well, it's everybody.
It's down a little bit.
Everybody knows in America consumption is down.
Yeah, it is.
But you know the markets are still strong in Asia.
There's a tremendous overseas market.
Overseas market. So a lot of your tobacco end up in Asia, Japan, China, places like that.
Yeah.
And
I know, I'm from Greensboro originally, a lot of people know that, and that's where Lorillard has one of their bigger plants, and they do a tremendous amount of work sending their cigarettes overseas.
Yeah.
Always have.
Yeah, they
Tremendous
have.
amount.
They have, but you know, most people know that tobacco is it's not a healthy option for people, but it's still a big cash crop for us.
And it's an individual's choice.
It's an individual's choice, and the market is still there internationally.
It is.
So and to be honest, tobacco is grown in a small geographic region right around us here. It's grown in southern Brazil, it's grown in China, and it's grown in a couple countries in Africa, and that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we have the best because of our soils and our climate.
We have the best.
We
period.
have the best quality, and so they may buy cheaper, low-quality tobacco from Brazil or you know, from China, but then they'll have to blend it with our tobacco because of the good quality.
Blended tobaccos.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Somebody used to use that in their advertising slogan.
Oh yeah. Back years ago, some of our listeners remember they used to advertise tobacco on television and radio and all. You know,
up until 1971.
Yeah,
that's when it stopped.
That's when it stopped. And you know, the world has changed, but the important thing is for our listeners, it's still an important crop, and it's on average you're looking at about a $50 million crop for this county. That's
per year.
Per year.
$50 million a year.
50.
And tobacco in North Carolina has built universities and hospitals, and
it has something that our listeners, especially if they're not from North Carolina, they think of Duke University.
Yeah.
You know, oh yeah, Duke's great. It was named from the Duke family, James Buchanan Duke, who owned the American Tobacco Company. And he actually built that university. It was Trinity College before that. He gave them, in today's terms, he gave them billions of dollars. They're still living, or they're still operating on that money.
on that same money.
That same money.
Yeah.
Same thing with Wake Forest University.
Yeah.
It was in the town of Wake Forest, just north of Raleigh, and R.J. Reynolds built them a new campus and moved them to Winston-Salem.
That's
So,
exactly
and
right.
R.J. Reynolds, as we know, is a major player in the tobacco industry.
Wow.
So,
There's a lot to tobacco. What a great history, a grand history tobacco has.
grand history. You know, it helped build Goldsboro. The markets
did.
helped build Goldsboro. It helped build a lot of our small towns. It was important, still is. That's why we just need to remember. It's still important, maybe not to the level that it once was, but still very important.
All right, very good. Well, we want to thank the Daw family for allowing us to invade their farm here.
Yeah, to come out here, they were very nice to allow us to come out here, especially since they are cropping right now.
Since they are cropping, we didn't interrupt their work. They just worked around us.
I didn't see a cropper come down these roads,
Well,
so
we're gonna have to go find one. I
Well,
guess.
yeah.
All right. Well, Kevin Johnson's director of the Cooperative Extension Service, and Kevin, I appreciate you talking with us.
Thank you.
This is great, and
Thank you.
we're learning about tobacco today here on Wayne Goldsboro Television. We are back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for sticking with us. I appreciate your staying there. This program airs at 7 a.m. each morning, Monday through Friday. It continues with a repeat at noon, and then again it repeats at 5:30 p.m. Thank you very much. We're here today at Goldsboro Event Center. This is a beautiful place. City of Goldsboro, pardon me, City of Goldsboro has come in and refurbished everything here. And this place, this beautiful building, is available for meetings, for events such as weddings and reunions and family or high school or whatever. So you can call the Goldsboro Parks and Recreation Department to get more information about that, or travel and tourism. Travel and tourism, I bet. But anyway, the place is fantastic. They've done a lot of landscaping out here. It really looks fresh out here. Beautiful flowers growing. It's open. It's a gorgeous place. And inside, you wouldn't believe inside, they can section off rooms to fit the size of your party to whatever you need right there, okay? Trivia question. Here's the answer to today's trivia question. Laika the dog was the first thing to go into space. I mean, besides microbes and all that other stuff. Laika the dog. And Laika didn't make it back. Who was the first human being to go into space? The clue was that he was a Russian. He was killed some years later in a helicopter accident in Russia. But he was the very first person to go into space. And what was his name? His name was Yuri Gagarin. That was the first one. Part two, who was the first American to go into space after Gagarin? The first American to go into space was, who went to the moon later? Alan Shepard.
Very good.
Alan Shepard, and then Gus Grissom, and then the senator from Ohio. What's his name? Anyway. How quickly we... John Glenn. That's it. Special Olympics golf tournament coming up here at Goldsboro Municipal Golf Course, $50 per player. This is for Special Olympics, Wayne County. For Special Olympics, Wayne County, $50 per player. The format is a 4-person Super Bowl, $50 per player. Space is limited to the first 23 teams to return an entry form and a check. You can return the entry form, but if you don't include a check with it, you're not going to be included. It's the first 23 teams to return the entry form and the check. 11 a.m. check-in time and a 1 p.m. shotgun start, and dinner will follow, all that stuff, where everybody has a good time there. Anyway, you can go to GoldsboroParksandRec.com to get more information, GoldsboroParksandRec.com. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
That's it. We're going to do this again bright and early tomorrow morning. Why? I have no idea, but we have a good time. Hope you do too. Do you have a good time?
I do, as long as it's cool.
Well, we're working on that. Anyway, stay cool. Hydrate yourself, drink plenty of water, stay in the shade if you can, wear a hat, okay, and all that stuff that you know you need to do to stay healthy during this hot time of year. Until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Pat Garner.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.